Hello and welcome to another Big Orbit unboxing video. I'm Chris and today I'll be opening an Hour of Devastation booster box. Nice and shiny, new set. Woo! So let's just chuck all that away. See if I can actually get into it for once. And here they are. The wonderful packs, what we're all interested in. Let's just get cracking. So some interesting stuff in the new set, like camels, because deserts are back, of course. We're just going to skip through the commons, just quickly. Maybe some decent commons in the set. You got like the deserts and things like that. These are the common set of deserts. They all come in tapped, but they all have cycling on them, so they're actually really useful. And there's lots of cards that interact with deserts, so useful to have. Puncturing Blow. If near Deadlands, these are the uncommon deserts. So these are like add colourless to your mana pool, or you can pay a life to add the corresponding colour to your mana pool. And all the uncommon deserts have an effect as well, so you pay like 4 mana, for instance, for this one. Tap it, sack a desert, which can be itself, and put 2 -1/-1 counters on target creature and opponent controls. And only do it when you can cast a sorcery. So the other ones have different effects. I can't remember any off the top of my head, but I'm sure we'll come to them. So yeah. Rascal Thry, Magnaroth, and Hour of Revelation. So there's like a whole hour series. So you got like Hour of Devastation, obviously. You got Hour of Revelation, and there's others as well. Hour of Revelation is the white version, so it's 3 white and 3 of any other for a sorcery. It costs 3 less if there are 10 or more non-land permanents on the battlefield, and it is destroy all non-land permanents. I mean, you're guaranteed to only be paying 3 white for this in Commander. I mean, let's face it, Commander's the best place for this card. It's pretty good. We've got Full Art Swamp as well, and a token at the end. Let's move these back and separate them into piles. So we've got 3 uncommons, and the commons can live over here. And if we, well, rather than if, I should say when we get some mythics, I'll have to make some new piles. So Thorned Moloch, Grizzly Survivor, Treasure Lesson. Love the artwork on this, just a dead Kefnet. Ronus' Stalwart. Survivor's Encampment, Dauntless Haven, such a good card in Limited. Black Desert, Claim to Fame, so one of the split cards, the Aftermath cards. So claim, return target creature card with converted mana cost 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Pretty good in zombie style decks, or just graveyard decks. And then Fame, the Aftermath, so cast it from your graveyard. And then it's a sorcery, obviously, so you can cast it from your graveyard as a sorcery, but exile it when you do, and target creature gets +2/+0 and haste until end of turn. So you can cast both halves for 3 mana and get a creature, give it haste, swing in for some amount of damage and win, right? Hope Tender, Torment of Scarabs. I've seen a pre-release weekend, a couple of people died to this because if it goes on you early, yeah, you just constantly sacrificing your stuff or ditching your hand or just losing life. There's no good outcome, but your opponent can pick the best outcome for them at the time, but no option is good, right? And then a Hostile Desert is the rare. Let's put those down. So it's a rare desert. You can add colours to your pool, or pay 2, exile a land card from your graveyard, and Hostile Desert becomes a 3/4 elemental creature until the end of turn. It's still a land. So a land desert thing. Pretty good. I don't know why I put it there. Should have gone the normal island, no full art, sad. Open Fire in foil. Very nice looking. Shame it's expensive for 3 damage, but in Limited it's good. That's the thing, the sets are mostly designed around Limited now, so they just work well within their own set. rather than necessarily being specifically for a role in standard or modern or any of the other formats. Crash through. Countervailing Wind is a nice one. Sometimes, you know, you just counterspelling something and they have to pay 6. So good in Limited. It's one of my favourite cards in Limited at the moment. Won me quite a few games. Just being able to exert to get the extra attack with Menace as well. And the Hippo. Hippo's good as well. Dutiful Servants. Got the red uncommon Desert. So this is pay 4, sack a desert, and it deals 2 damage to each opponent. Not great for the not great payoff for the cost, but still, maybe you need the 2 damage. Jace's Defeat, so there's one of each of the Gatewatcher's defeat in the set as well. So this is the first one we've seen, which is Jace. So counter target blue spell if it was a Jace Planeswalker spell, scry 2. I mean, counter a blue spell for 2 and scry 2 if it's Jace. It's not bad, I suppose, but not great. Quarry Beetle and Angel of Condemnation is our rare. So 4 mana for a 3/3 flying Vigilance Angel. You can pay 3 and tap it to exile another target creature and return it to the battlefield under its own control at the beginning of the next end step. So you can flicker something, essentially. Or you can pay 3 and exert the Angel. So exert was one of the mechanics they brought in Amonkhet, and now they've changed it a little bit so that you can exert. Like, there are cards that exert not just in the combat phase, but this is any time, basically. So exile another target creature until Angel of Condemnation leaves the battlefield. So, yeah, pretty nasty for 4 mana. 3/3 flyer with Vigilance is already really good for 4 mana with a lot of upside. So, pretty good. And full art Forest, which is always nice to have. Again, just flicking through quickly. Monolith, nice, reprinted in this set, and it's really good because of, well, I don't know if any of you have been playing pre-release last weekend, but there were a lot of 3-color decks floating around, sometimes even 4-color decks, and this is great for fixing that. Aerial Guide, again, a great limited card. This, yeah, it can kind of blow people out by just... Imagine if you're playing blue-green and you have this and you give your big green 7/7 flying with this for a turn. It's great. Again, Dauntless Haven. This is the Green Desert. Crypt of the Eternals. Inferno Jet. Devotee of Strength. And Jeru with Eyes Open. Hope I'm putting these in the right piles. So Jeru is a 5 mana 4/3 legendary human warrior with Vigilance. When it enters the battlefield, search your library for a Planeswalker card, reveal it, put it into your hand, shuffle your library. So you can shoot it for Bolas, for instance. Why not? If a source would deal damage to a Planeswalker you control, prevent 1 of that damage. Not too bad. I mean, a little expensive for a 4/3 Vigilance, but the fact that you get the tutor out of that as well, playing it in the right deck, not bad. Ooh, and a rare foil. So Grind to Dust. This is actually a really good card. So put 2/1/1 counters on each of up to 2 target creatures for 2 mana, and then Dust, the aftermath side of it, is exile any number of target creatures that have -1/-1 counters on them for 4 mana. So at the very least, if you cast it on the same turn, you're just exiling 2 creatures. If you're playing a -1/-1 counter strategy deck, then you could be exiling with Dust, like, you know, 5-6 creatures in theory, if you spread the love with the counters. Another Monolith. This is actually pretty good for a common, for limited. Bit of Blow Sharpshooters, just 5 mana 4/4 with Vigilance and Reach. Can't go wrong with it. Ambuscade, great card, really good card. It's won me several games. I think lost me a couple as well when it was played on me. So target creature you control gets +1/+0 until end of turn, and then deals its damage equal to its power to target creature an opponent controls. So it's a fight effect without the fight, which means your creature doesn't take damage, which is great. Yeah, it's just amazing in green. Even Reach Stalker, Dagger of the Worthy, Angel of the God Pharaoh, Accursed Horde, and Hour of Promise. So our second hour. So this is the green hour, Hour of Promise. 5 mana for a sorcery. Search your library for up to 2 target land cards, put them onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle your library. Then, if you control 3 or more deserts, create 2 2/2 black zombie creature tokens. Pretty good, actually. I had this played against me a couple of times over the weekend, and it worked out quite well for them. Like, you know, they still lost because, you know. But yeah, it kept them alive a little bit longer, and it was quite frustrating to play against. Just because they actually had the deserts to back it up, and this can actually search for deserts. It's not just basic lands; it's any 2 lands. So a little bit expensive for with the 5 mana cost, but not bad. I'm really struggling to get into this pack. Another Ambuscade, Sandblast, Dunes of the Dead, Danger of the God Pharaoh, Overcome, and Kefnet's Last Word is the rare. So Kefnet's Last Word. There's also 1 of each of these types of cards for each colour as well. So Kefnet's Last Word is 2 blue and 2 for a sorcery. Gain control of target artifact, creature, or enchantment. Then lands you control don't untap during your next untap step. It's kind of like high risk, high reward in theory. If you can grab their biggest thing, you're not going to mind too much that you kind of skip your next turn almost. Unless you leave mana open and it's late game. But if you play it on curve, you're not really going to have a turn 5. But if it keeps you alive, then it's actually pretty good. So there's 1 of each types of these cards where your lands don't untap during your next untap step for each colour, and hopefully we'll get some of those as well. But pretty good. Mountain and a cat token. Unfortunately, they didn't update the cat token. It's still the Amon Ket one. There is a new cat token though for 1 of the other cards, the Adorned Pouncer, which has Eternalize on it, which we'll probably get to at some point when I find a card worthy of talking about with Eternalize on it. Unquenchable Thirst, Torment of Venom, Disposal Mummy. So that's just a comment. Shefet Dunes, Manticore Eternal, Hope Tender, and Nimble Obstructionist. It's actually quite a nice card. 3 mana for a 3/1 flyer with flash is actually really good, and you can cycle it as well. And when you cycle it, counter target activated or triggered ability you don't control. So you can use it in a control deck as a body if you need it, or to actually stop an ability going off. It could be something like the Angel of Condemnation, for instance, if they try and exert and steal your dude, or something off you, you can be like, nah, and counter the ability. So, can be useful in the right strategy. As with most cards, to be fair, though. Butcher some more packs. Strike Riverwinder. I like the artwork on this one. Very different to their normal style. 5 round. So, ramming out Ruins, Riddleform. Riddleform's quite funny. So whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you can have Riddleform become a 3/3 Sphinx creature with flying in addition to its other types until end of turn. And it also has pay 3 to scry 1. So 2 mana, and then next time you cast a non-creature spell, this becomes a 3/3 Sphinx. It's pretty good because it just kind of skips sorcery speed removal to some extent, as long as you don't activate the like make it become a Sphinx on your opponent's turn. So yeah, it's nice. Nissa's Defeat, so the green defeat. So destroy target forest, green enchantment, or green planeswalker. If that permanent was a Nissa planeswalker, draw a card. So not amazing. Earthshaker Kenra is our rare, so 2 for a 2/1 Jackal Warrior with haste. When enter the battlefield, target creature with power less than or equal to Earthshaker Kenra's power can't block this turn. So basically, creature with power 2 or less can't block, but it has Eternalize for 6. So Eternalize is exile the card from your graveyard, create a token that's a copy of it, except it's a 4/4 black zombie Jackal Warrior with no mana cost. Eternalize only as a sorcery. So, like Embalm from Amonkhet, Eternalize is just a bigger, badder version. So with Embalm, you know, you could get like your 1/1 cat back, like this. You could get your cat token back with lifelink for 1 mana. This is pay more, but it's guaranteed to come back as a 4/4. So he starts as 2/1, comes back as a 4/4, and target creature with less than 4 power, well 4 or less power, can't block when it re-enters the battlefield as a token. So, very nice. I do like the Eternalize mechanic. It adds an extra dimension to the game. Like, you don't have to necessarily be playing a full-on graveyard strategy to have to worry about the graveyard anymore. I'm just really skipping through these commons. River Hoopo. It's one of the few blue-green cards, like in recent sets anyway. I know we had a couple last time, and therefore there are more of them now, but this is the only one in this set at least. So a 2 mana 1/3 flyer, gain 2 life and draw a card if you pay the 5. Can't complain. Sinuous Striker also has Eternalize on it. Right, that's right. And Neheb the Eternal is our Mythic. First Mythic of the day. Get rid of the planes. So Neheb the Eternal, I believe it was Neheb the Worthy in the previous set. So he's now Eternal. Anyway, so 5 mana for a 4/6 legendary creature, zombie Minotaur Warrior. Bit of a mouthful for the type there, but never mind. So it has Afflict 3. Afflict is one of the new mechanics where if the creature becomes blocked, the defending player loses 3 life. So you're either going to get hit for 4 if you let the attack go through, or you block and you lose 3 anyway. So you might lose a creature and lose 3 life if you block, whereas you could just lose 4 life and keep your creature, for instance. So there's a bit of thinking involved with the Afflict mechanic and blocking. So at the beginning of your post-combat main phase, add red to your mana pool for each 1 life your opponents have lost this turn. You can basically swing him for combat and then just play a bunch of stuff, like a lot. You can just get rid of your entire hand. And you're red, so everything's pretty cheap. And, you know, you're probably floating like 6 or 7 mana. You can get rid of your entire hand with that. Blur of Blades, Ruin Rat. I like Ruin Rat. It's a 2 mana 1/1, but it's got Death Touch and an upside when it dies. It's great. Desert of the Mindful. Ooh, Bloodwater Entity. Quite like this card. There have been people obviously trying to make this work in Modern already. So a 3 mana 2/2 flyer with prowess. It's already pretty good, but it also has a great upside of when it enters the battlefield, you may put target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard on top of your library. That's just great. You know, there's nothing bad about this card, other than it loses the power and toughness at end of turn. But nah, really good. Gideon's Defeat, everyone's favourite card, because, you know, does anybody really like Gideon? So 1 white to exile target white creature that's attacking or blocking. If it was a Gideon Planeswalker, gain 5 life. And there's a nice picture of Bolas just, you know, poking him a little bit. Yeah. Vile Manifestation, and the rare is Amit Eternal. So Amit Eternal is pretty good, and I will actually put it on camera. Helps if you can see it. So a 3 mana 5/5 with a zombie crocodile demon. Great creature type, I like it. Afflict 3. So whenever an opponent casts a spell, put a -1/-1 counter on the Amit Eternal. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, remove all -1/-1 counters from it. So it's going to get smaller, but then if you swing in and actually hit with it, it's going to get bigger. There's also the whole -1/-1 strategy, moving token, like the counters around and moving stuff off your stuff onto your opponent's stuff, and every time a counter goes on, get snakes and things like that. So it works really well in that strategy. Forest and a frontline Devastator in foil. Very nice looking. Pretty good limited card as well. Just because, well, I mean, 3/3 for 4 is not great, but it has a Afflict 2, which is good, and Fire Breathing. So overall, not bad. Lethal Stings, really nice card. And the Desert as well is common. So Dunes of the Dead, Manticore Eternal, farm to market. So destroy attacking or blocking creature, and draw 2 cards, then discard 2 cards. So meh. Another Amit Eternal, 2 in a row. See if we can make it 3. And we've only hit 1 Mythic so far, so still plenty of chances to get some more. Crash Through, Unsummon, the reprint, Appeal to Authority. So until end of turn, target creature gains Trample and +X/+X, where X is the number of creatures you control. Pretty nasty. And then Authority, tap up to 2 target creatures your opponents control. Creatures you control gain Vigilance until end of turn. I mean, if you get that combo for 3 mana, that's pretty disgusting. Sand Strangler, also known as Build Your Own Flame Tongue Kavu. You have to have a desert in to be able to do the 3 damage, but you know, doable in this format. Supreme Will, meh, I guess. It's alright, but it's meh. Resilient Kenra, so 2 mana, 2/2, Jackal Wizard. Who doesn't like Jackal Wizards, right? When it enters the battlefield, you may have a target creature get +X/+X until end of turn, where X is Resilient Kenra's power, and it has Eternalize, so it'll come back as a 4/4. Pretty nasty combat, well, not really a combat trick, but pre-combat trick that you can then just, I mean, play Appeal as well to Authority, and just, that's a blowout right there. Yeah, not bad. Island and a foil Supreme Will. Again, meh. Looks pretty though. And to be fair, it's not that bad. You get the choice of 2 things, but it's, you know. Maybe I'm just looking at it through the eyes of a, like, currently limited player, because that's all I've been doing for all last weekend. Ooh, Obelisk Spider. Love this card. So 3 mana, 1/4 with reach, and whenever it deals combat damage to a creature, put a -1/-1 counter on that creature. Whenever you put 1 or more -1/-1 counters on a creature, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. This is like just a great card for the -1 strategy. It's so good. And I built an amazing deck at the weekend that happened to have that in. Another Kavu, another Gideon's Defeat, and Bontu's Last Reckoning. So this is the black version of the blue card I was talking about earlier. So 3 mana for a sorcery, destroy all creatures, Lands you control don't untap during your next untap step. Great if you're about to die. That's about it, really. The downside is pretty bad, but honestly, you might not even care. If they've thrown everything at you and then you just wipe the board and survive. Yeah, I actually think it's a good card. Might actually see play. More deserts. Consigned to Oblivion. Yeah, not too good. So return Titan Land permanent to its owner's hand for 2 instant speed, and then for 5 sorcery speed, opponent discards 2 cards. A little bit meh. Doomfall, it's another one that I think is a little bit overrated, to be honest. So 3 mana sorcery, choose 1, target opponent exiles a creature he or she controls, or target opponent reveals his or her hand and choose a non-land card from it, exile that card. I mean, if you want to exile the creature, or make your opponent destroy or exile a creature, you've got the black trial from Amonkhet for 2 mana. And if you want to reveal their hand and choose stuff from it to exile, then there's other 2 mana stuff, which names escape my mind at the moment, but it exists for 2 mana. You're basically paying an extra mana to get both effects on the same card. Vizier of the Anointed, and Hour of Eternity, which I actually don't think is a good card, because it's 3 blue and then XX. So you know, exile X target creatures from your graveyard. For each card exiled this way, create a token that's a copy of that card, except it's a 4/4 black zombie. So for 5 mana, you can get 1 4/4 black zombie that has a potentially good effect. I mean, it's just expensive for what it does, I think. You'd probably just prefer to play Eternalized creatures themselves rather than, you know, yeah. I don't know. Maybe people will prove me wrong and it's actually good. I mean, it's the 3 blue probably that puts me off more than the double X. Another Lethal Sting, Unquenchable Thirst. Struggle to Survive. This won me a few games as well. So Struggle deals damage to target creature equal to the number of lands you control. So 3 mana, deal 6 damage on turn 6 if you've hit all your land drops, not bad. Survive, each player shuffles his or her graveyard into his or her library. I think I cast that once. It's not very useful in Limited, but you just want the removal. As far as Standard goes, I'm sure there's great strategies that people can use to put that to good use. Boniface Minotaur, one of the few creatures that actually has First Strike. And yeah, you can discard a card and pay 2 and it gets +2/+0 until end of turn. Overcome, so creatures you control get +2/+2 and trample until end of turn for 5 mana. Ooh. Okay, I've just seen what's at the back as well. So Mirage Mirror. 3 mana for an artifact. You can pay 2. Mirage Mirror becomes a copy of target artifact, creature, enchantment or land until end of turn. People are going to try and make this work in kind of combo-y decks, and I'm sure there'll be some success with it. Not huge amounts. It won't be like a broken deck or anything. It'll just be kind of a funny deck. We've got Full Art Island and Lurking Invocation. Not only that, it's a Damnation, which is pretty damnation good. So, yeah, 4 mana for a sorcery to destroy all creatures. They can't be regenerated. You can't go wrong with this. It was recently reprinted in Modern Masters 2017. And they decided to do the Invocation version because, you know, Bolus on a Damnation card looks freaking awesome. Yeah, I do like that. And I'm going to put that to one side, nice and safe, because it's quite expensive as well. I think it's the playmat that... He's grinning. Look at him grinning. Let's put it there. See, now if we pull a Bolas Planeswalker, I'll be happy with that. Although I'm not already happy, because this is pretty good so far from what we've pulled. Chandra's Defeat, Tenacious Hunter, and the Sands. So, Desert, it's a land. Add colourless to your pool. Pay 2 and tap it to exile target creature you control. And pay 4, tap it, sacrifice Endless Sands, return each creature card exiled with Endless Sands to the battlefield under its owner's control. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's uses for it. Just nothing particularly good at the moment that I know of. And Proven Combatant token. So let's see, we'll be just skipping all the commons, because I mean, most of the commons you're getting multiples of now anyway, so Sifterworm, Unconventional Tactics, and Reason to Believe. So for 1 blue, scry 3, pretty good. And Believe is 5 mana for a sorcery. Look at the top card of your library. You may put it onto the battlefield if it's a creature card. If you don't, put it into your hand. So you can fix your deck with the scry, and then just dump something onto the battlefield, like dump a creature onto the battlefield, or just draw a card. Can be useful in the right strategy, but to be honest, the second half of that is a little expensive. I mean, if you're cheating out stuff that's 7 mana or higher, then the payoff is probably worth it, considering you're already paying 6 mana for it. So if you need Deadlands, Senior Striker, Desert's Hold, and Hazoret's Undying Fury. So shuffle your library, 6 mana, for a sorcery. Shuffle your library, then exile the top 4 cards. You may cast any number of non-land cards with converted mana cost 5 or less from among them without paying their mana costs. Lands you control don't untap during your next untap step. So you can have this as the top end in a red deck. So like the only cards of 6 mana or higher, and everything else is 5 or less, and then you can play it and hope that you don't hit lands off the top 4 cards. Yeah, I mean, you're either going to win straight off that or lose straight off that. It's very much a coin flip. Yeah. There we go. Condemnation, Ominous Sphinx. I like the Sphinxes in this set. Banewhip Punisher, probably one of the best limited cards, if not the best limited card, because it's like removal on a stick, and you can like block stuff as well, and then sacrifice it after, so you don't take damage from the creature, and then you can kill another creature and put counters on other things, and it's great. Imminent Doom is out rare. Again, great artwork with this one. So 3 mana for an enchantment. Imminent Doom enters the battlefield with a Doom counter on it. Whenever you cast a spell with converted mana cost equal to the number of Doom counters on Imminent Doom deals that much damage to target creature or player. Then put a Doom counter on Imminent Doom. I said Doom a lot of times during that little section. Doom, Doom, Doom. It's not really a great card, to be honest. The artwork's really nice. The card is like me, because you have to play this on 3 to then curve out from 1 to whatever. So it's just weird. Again, just skipping through. Sorry to the people that like me going through all the cards individually, but honestly, it's commons. There's not that many commons in this set. Jace's Defeat and Liliana's Defeat in the same pack. Nice. Hour of Devastation. Yep, we got the title card. 5 mana for a sorcery. All creatures lose indestructible until end of turn. Hour of Devastation deals 5 damage to each creature and each non-Bolas Planeswalker. This is actually really, really good. Do you remember the gods from Amonkhet? Because they just died to this. Because yeah, no indestructible for them. Yeah, good card. And cat token. Lots of cat tokens, which is weird. I would have thought they'd have tried to put more of the eternalized tokens in rather than the stuff from Amonkhet. But I suppose now there is stuff that generates cat tokens in this set too. So Consigned to Oblivion, Quarry Beetle, Chandra's Defeat, and Abandoned Sarcophagus is the rare. So you may cast non-land cards with cycling from your graveyard. If a card with cycling would be put into your graveyard from anywhere and it wasn't cycled, exile it instead. So a 3-mana artifact. This is really, really good, and people are already trying to make it work in their cycle strategies. Because let's face it, like, you're gonna cycle a bunch of stuff away and then you're gonna bring it back. So it's great. Full Art Mountain and a Sinuous Striker. This one is a pain to get into. Skip. Another Bloodwater Entity, Eternal of Harsh Truths, Nissa's Defeat, and Refuse to Cooperate. So Refuse deals damage equal to target spells. There. I'll start again. 4 mana for an instant, so Refuse deals damage to target spells controller equal to that spell's converted mana cost. So could be dealing 1, although you wouldn't play it if it was dealing 1, would you? You'd probably play it on something that's like 4 or more to actually hit them with a decent amount. The downside is if your opponent's not playing spells that are very high cost. And Cooperate, copy target instant or sorcery spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. Weirdly, it's an Aftermath at instant speed, which is quite nice. And it's a 3 mana instant. So pretty good. Full Art Island and a Sunscourge Champion. Almost skipping all the way to the end there. Magmaroth, Heshep Oasis. Oh yeah, we actually pulled one. I did it. We did it, guys. Woo. So yeah, we got Nicol Bolas, the God Pharaoh, in all his glory. Look at him. Oh, look at that little face. So yeah, 7 mana. Bolas Planeswalker. His +2 is target opponent exiles cards from the top of his or her library until he or she exiles a non-land card. Until end of turn, you may cast that card without paying its mana cost. That is already pretty good just for the +2. +1 is each opponent exiles 2 cards from his or her hand. That's pretty nasty as well. I mean, you play him on 7 with 7 loyalty and you just +1 him, and chances are your opponent's not going to have any cards left in hand after that. His -4 is Nicol Bolas God Pharaoh deals 7 damage to target opponent or creature an opponent controls. I mean, you +2 him. If he doesn't get attacked, you -4 him, and then next turn you -4 him again, and that's 14 damage. And you've probably cast one of their cards for free as well, so it's not bad. And the -12 is exile each non-land permanent your opponent's control. This is more of a commander thing, I guess, because I wouldn't have thought you'd really cast that in like standard, for instance, because your opponent's probably going to be dead from a -4 rather than waiting until you can cast a -12. It's like, you know, overall pretty good card. Expensive, like mana-wise, but still very nice. I'm going to put him right next to his little grinning face. So I managed to get everything I wanted from this box. A Bolas and an Invocation, and it happens to be a really good Invocation too. Hollow One's pretty nice. 5 mana for a 4/4 Golem, which is an artifact creature. And it costs 2 less to cast for each card you've cycled or discarded this turn, and it also has cycling itself. So I mean, cycle 3 things. If you're playing if you're playing new perspectives, I can't even speak anymore. Then yeah, you'll be cycling for free anyway. If you're just generally doing a Drakehaven deck or something like that, you'll be playing a lot of cycling. So yeah, very good. You'll be able to cast him very cheap, if not free. Appeal to Authority as the foil. And more tokens. Getting towards the end of the box. So Sunscourge Champion, Vile Manifestation, Resolute Survivors, and Pride Sovereign. Nice, that's the thing that generates tokens. So yeah, so 3 mana, 2/2 cat. It gets +1/+1 for each other cat you control. You can pay a white and exert the Pride Sovereign to create 2 1/1 white cat creature tokens with lifelink. So you're basically paying 1 and tap, like exerting him to make him a 4/4 straight away. Pretty good. I mean, cat tribal is firmly in the meta as a thing, right? People will be taking cat tribal to tournaments now. Unraveling Mummy, Torment of Scarabs, Burning Fist Minotaur, and Wildfire Eternal. Quite a nice card. 4 mana, 1/4, Zombie Jackal Cleric with Afflict 4. So, you know, your opponents can either take 1 damage or take 4 damage by blocking it. But if it does attack and isn't blocked, you may cast an instant or sorcery card from your hand without paying its mana cost. I mean, that can be pretty disgusting with the right cards. I mean, maybe you have one of these in foil and you just cast it for free and stuff happens. I mean, there's a lot of strategies you can use with this. Quite a few decks it'll fit in. Very nice. Crooked Condemnation, Banewood Punisher, a Braid, Majestic Myriad. 5 mana for a for a Chimera. Let's go with that. So its power and toughness are equal to twice the number of creatures you control. So control 1 creature, it's 2/2, etc., etc. You know the drill. At the beginning of each combat, if you control a creature with flying, Majestic Mirage gains flying until end of turn. So here's where the wording gets weird, because the same is true for First Strike, Double Strike, Death Touch, Haste, Hexproof, Indestructible, Lifelink, Menace, Reach, Trample, and Vigilance. The way they've written that makes it sound like if another creature has First Strike, Majestic Mirage gains flying. I think it's intended to be the Chimera gains First Strike, for instance. So it gains the relevant keyword, whereas the rules as written, like the way they've actually written it on the card, it's silly. Yeah, let's put it there anyway. Ooh, another Mythic, the Locust God. Yeah, nice. So 6 mana for a 4/4 legendary creature god. It has flying. Whenever you draw a card, create a 1/1 blue and red insect creature token with flying and haste. You can pay 4 to draw a card, then discard a card. And when it dies, return it to its owner's hand at the beginning of the next end step. So interestingly, these gods don't have indestructible, but they have the mechanic where they just come back to your hand. So there's a set of 3 gods this time to make it a full set of 7. 8. How many were in the 8, not 7. I don't know why I said 7, because there's 5 colours in Magic, not 4. And then the Grixis gods. So yeah, not bad. Good for Commander. Let's face it. I mean, Commander, you're going to be drawing a lot of cards, getting a lot of insects. Active Heroism for the foil. And Proven Combatant as a token. Let's see. So Braid, Saving Grace, Chevette Dunes, and Leave to Chance. So Leave is return any number of target permanents you own to your hand as an instant for 2 mana. Chance is sorcery for 4, discard any number of cards, then draw that many cards. I mean, pretty good. Because it gives you stuff like fuels your discard basically. Foil Forest and a normal island. Getting lost in the pack. Chaos Maw. So quite expensive, but it is 6/6. So 7 mana, 6/6 Hellion. When it enters the battlefield, it deals 3 damage to each other creature. Pretty nasty. Full Art Plains and another cat. I actually just killed that pack. Can never remember whether I should just count them out. Really, it would help. Ramming Up Hydra is our rare, so 4 mana 3/3 with Vigilance, Reach, and Trample. It gets +1/+1 as long as you control a desert, and +1/+1 as long as there's a desert in your graveyard. So it can be a 4 mana 5/5 with Vigilance, Reach, and Trample in the right deck. That's quite good. Another Doomfall, Imaginary Threats, River Hoopoe, Fraying Sanity. It's a pretty funny one as well. So 3 mana, enchantment. So you enchant a player at the beginning of each end step. Enchanted player puts the top X cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard, where X is the number of cards put into that graveyard from anywhere this turn. This is going to be a Judge's worst nightmare because of people calling Judge trying to figure out when stuff triggers and when it goes into the graveyard, and if that adds onto the total when this is like going off and stuff, and putting things on the stack that put things into the graveyard at the beginning of end step, and does that double and does it not, and people are just getting confused, and this card basically means that mill is good in standard. Like, there will be mill decks running around. They won't be necessarily traditional mill decks, but there will be mill decks. Obelisk Spider, Vizier of the True, Riddle Form, and Grind to Dust, which we've already seen, but solid card. Last 3 packs, so I just blast through them. I mean, we've already had good stuff, so I'm not expecting anything like extra now. It's all just bonus from here on out. Like this, Unesh, Cryo Sphinx Sovereign, 6 mana, 4/4 legendary Sphinx creature with flying. Sphinx spells you cast cost 2 less to cast. Whenever it or another Sphinx enters the battlefield under your control, reveal the top 4 cards of your library. An opponent separates those cards into 2 piles. Put 1 pile into your hand and the other into your graveyard. Sphinx Tribal, yeah, sure, let's go with it. Good card. Put it in your commander deck. It'll be great. Well, as long as you got the right colours. Merciless Eternal, Vizier of the True, Accursed Horde, and Apocalypse Demon. So 6 mana Star. With flying, its power and toughness are equal to the number of cards in your graveyard. At the beginning of your upkeep, tap Apocalypse Demon unless you sacrifice another creature. I mean, late game it's great. You wouldn't want to play it on 6 though, because there's a lot of upkeep involved in keeping it alive. So yeah, not bad as a finisher if you're running a graveyard kind of style deck. And the last pack, which I've just murdered. Let's skip to the uncommons. So Merciless Eternal again, Sifter Worm. Oh, I actually skipped an uncommon, never mind. I'll fix that later. Dreamstealer is our rare. So 3 mana, 1/2 human wizard with menace. whenever Dream Stealer deals combat damage to a player, that player discards that many cards, and it has Eternalize, so you'll be discarding 4 cards if you get hit with this after it's been Eternalized. So pretty good. And a full art island to finish it off with a zombie. So overall, I'm very happy with how that box went. Like, I have absolutely no complaints in getting a Damnation, Invocation, and a Bolas Planeswalker, and, like, you know, a few decent Mythics as well, and some decent rares. I mean, the rares we've got... I know there's a Mythic in this part as well, because I forgot to put in the new one. Growing to Dust is great. Fraying Sanity is going to be funny. That's not bad. Wildfire Eternal could be good. Hollow One could be good. Our Devastation is great. Mirage Mirror, people are going to be using it. Bonsu's Last Reckoning I think could be good. Amit Eternal's pretty good. Neheb's good. That's very good as well. Kefnet's Last Word is good. Our Promise, I suppose. Angel of Condemnation's good. And I'm pretty sure I just went straight past the Mythic. If there even is one in here, maybe I'm just going mad. Where did I put it? There it is, it's Neheb. Of course it is. Neheb should always be Mythic. So yeah, 4 solid Mythics. Well, 5, and I suppose 6. So, yeah, that's a great card. Very nice. And Bolas, of course. Excellent. So yeah, and thank you for watching. All the cards you've seen will be on our site to either buy or trade or sell to us. And yeah, please remember to like, comment and subscribe to the videos, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.